Want to learn the mental game from the man who coached Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant? Well, this week's What to Read Wednesdays is The Mindful Athlete by the great George Mumford. And he's just released the second edition of this classic book on mindfulness and performance, so I wanted to give it another shout out. Here are 3 ideas from the book that I thought were really, really powerful. The first idea is this notion that your mind can either liberate your performance or interfere with it. George talks about the internal patterns that we carry beneath the surface. So things like fear, insecurity, negative self-talk, our beliefs about who we are. Now, under pressure, those patterns get louder. Mindfulness gives us the ability to notice them without automatically obeying them. And that's a very important distinction. Now, the goal isn't to stop having difficult thoughts, it's to stop every thought from becoming an instruction. Now, the second idea is to create space between stimulus and response. And this might be one of the most useful ideas in the entire book. Pressure creates reactions. Right? You miss the shot, you make the mistake, get the bad decision, somebody provokes you. Our instinct after something like that happens is to react immediately. George describes mindfulness as helping us stay in that calm space between what happens and what we do next. And that tiny space is actually enormous. That's where choice lives. The best performers aren't people who never get rattled. That's impossible. You're going to get rattled. The best performers are people who can come back to themselves quickly when they do get rattled. Now, the third idea is this idea that failure is something that you experience. It isn't who you are. And George makes this distinction really beautifully. We make a mistake and very quickly we turn I failed into I'm a failure. And once identity gets involved, one mistake becomes heavier than it needs to be. And George worked on this with athletes constantly. Learn from the mistake without becoming the mistake. And that's what allows failure to become feedback and information and not a judgment. And ironically, the less afraid you become of mistakes, the freer you become to perform. Now, George talks about 5 superpowers that sit underneath all of these ideas. Let's see if I can remember them. There's mindfulness, concentration, insight, the right effort, and trust. He talks about these as 5 capacities that we can train to help us stay present and get out of our own way when it really matters. Now, what I love about this book is that it's ostensibly a book about sport, but it's really about the inner game that every single one of us are playing. And whether you're MJ taking the final shot or just trying to show up better in your own life, that's a pretty powerful skill to develop.